First step to make whatever your dreams are, whatever you have in your heart and you want to do, you're here. So that's the first step. And that's I feel like so many people get so caught up in thinking about, what you need to do and all the steps you need to take. But that first step is the most important, because if you don't take that, then where are you going to be, right? So throughout all these different experiences, the thing that has been consistent within me that I would love to share with all of you is to never stop believing in yourself, to grow and to become better. All right, because I believe in this mantra. This mantra I learned when I was in high school. I did this thing called this program known as the Alpha Esquires, and it says that if it is to be, it must begin with me. All right, so I want y'all to say that. If it is to be, it must begin with me. Let me hear it. I need more energy than I said. If it is to be, it must begin with me. All right, and that's just saying, like, if you want something, if you really want something, you've got to take that first step. And like I said, you all have done the first step by being here today. So I have a couple stories, a few stories that I want to share with you all that really speak to me, taking that first step and believing that if it is to be, it must begin with me. So first story is, when I was in your shoes, when I was in high school, and actually before high school, when I was going through middle school, I didn't have as much confidence as I do now. I was a little chubby, I felt like I was overweight, I didn't have a lot of friends, and I used to just think a lot in my head, like, what can I do to surround myself around good people? What can I do to change the way I look, to change the way I feel, to build my confidence up? And what I found was helpful for me was finding other people who I could connect with and build with in terms of relationships and friendships and things like that. And the way I did that was cross country. So I decided to go run cross country. And I don't know if any of you ever ran cross country, but it's not like a lot of black people run cross country. And so my mom and my family was just like, Greg, what are you doing? And I didn't even know what I was doing, but I knew I wanted to change. I wanted to lose some weight. I wanted to build a community, right, of friends. And so I chose to run cross country. And when I first decided to do it, I found out that, there was things that came with that meant that I needed to change the way I moved throughout the world. So I needed to eat differently. I needed to drink differently. I needed to study, at a certain time so that I could have time to go to practice. I needed to really prepare myself to be this athlete that I wanted to become. And so when I chose to take that step, my mom, I love my mom so much, she's very protective. She was just like, Greg, I don't know if you want to do this, because I would be out there running, and we're running like 3 miles every practice. And sometimes it's like 4 miles or whatever. And I remember this one time I was running, and I'm outside, and I'm like, whew, it's hot, I'm sweating. And when you run that long, you start sweating so much that you can see salt on your skin. So it's like a deep sweat or something. I don't know what's going on, but it's just like, I'm running. And then my mom pulls up in the car, and she's like, baby, now listen, you ain't gotta do this. You can go ahead and get in the car, and we can just, wrap this up. And I said, nah, Mom, I really want this. I want to be in cross country. I want to do this. And she said, okay, go ahead. And I kept running. And I kept running throughout the entire season. And towards the end of the season, I looked at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, I don't look the same. I lost a couple pounds. I looked around me. I had some new friends. It didn't feel the same, right? And it all was because I chose to continue to believe in myself to change. I believed in myself to grow. And I ran cross country, and I gained friends, and I changed, transformed my body, and I was so proud of that. And I tell you that because whatever your cross country might be, it might be you want to, be a lawyer, so you want to start studying right now. It might be you want to be, on a sports team, or you want to be a doctor, or you want to, encourage people, you want to be a motivational speaker. Whatever it is for you, start thinking about what's that thing that you want to have to help you change, to help you grow, because you always have that power. All right? So second story is, I ran cross country, I boosted up my confidence. I was like, okay, I'm a little different now, right? I don't feel the same, I don't act the same. So when it came time to go to college, I was excited, right? And I was looking at all the colleges, I was looking at all the HBCUs and the PWIs, and I applied to Howard, I got into Howard, and I did really want to go to an HBCU. And what happened was the money came from the PWI. But I say that to say that there is something so magical about being around your people. And there's a reason why I haven't lived in Atlanta that long. I've been here only like about a year now. But before that, I lived in Oakland, California. And then I had to move there after college to work at Google. So I was in California for like 6 years. And there's a reason why I came here to Atlanta. And it was really because I wanted to be around you all. Like, I wanted that. I never got that, culture and things like that, like Dr. Torrance was talking about, and it's so important. So when you do start thinking about colleges and you think about where you want to go, think about that, because it's really important who you surround yourself around. But in terms of college, I went to Ohio State. I had this new idea of who I was, but I wasn't done growing, because a part of my studies included, I studied business, logistics management with a minor in Spanish. And that minor in Spanish was something that was really important to me. I wanted to speak Spanish because I knew I wanted to connect with other cultures. I always felt like it was important to be able to talk to people and meet them where they are. And so I signed up for a minor in Spanish, but at Ohio State, it wasn't just like you could say, hey, I want to be a minor in Spanish, and that was it. You had to take this test. So the test was called the Slurpee, which is the Spanish Listening Reading Proficiency Exam. And so I was just like, yeah, I want to study Spanish, right? That's what I want to do. And I took this test. There's two parts. There's a listening part and a reading part. And the first time I took it, I failed both parts. And this really hit my ego. It really hit my confidence, because I already told you I ran across the country. I got this new confidence. I got this new body. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And I failed this test. And my mom and them looking at me like, well, Greg, what's going on? Because you're supposed to be smart. You're not supposed to be out here failing. And I had to go back to that thought I told you about earlier. Never forget about your ability to grow and to learn and to change. So I said, okay, well, this isn't the end, right? This can't be the end. I want to study Spanish. Let me go take it again. So I took it again. I studied a little bit more. And I'm like, I'm ready to pass. And I passed the listening, but I failed the reading. So I'm like, well, Dad, what's going on? I studied, I tried, I put myself out there. I'm like, I'm ready to grow, I'm ready to learn and change, and it still didn't work. And times like this, you have to really, at that point, I felt like I hit a wall. I was like, what's going on? What am I doing wrong? So I had to do some introspection. I had to do some thinking to myself and say, you know what, Greg, because I only had like one more time to take it. And at that point, I told myself, I want this so bad that regardless of if I fail or not, I'm going to go study Spanish. Because I felt like it hit my ego in a way that I had never had my ego. It made me feel like, wow, am I worth it? Like, am I meant to be here? Do I belong? Do I need to study Spanish? And I asked myself those questions, and I got to a place where I was like, of course, I want to study Spanish. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do whatever I have to do my best, but if I fail, Ohio State doesn't have to give me a minor. I'm going to go study Spanish anyways. And I feel like when you get to a point like that in your life where, you might want something so bad that regardless of if the world tells you you're worth it, if the world tells you you're valuable, that does not matter. You have to believe it. You have to know what you want. And when you go after it with that type of tenacity and that type of drive, can't nothing get in your way. You know what I'm saying? And so I went back to the school and I talked to the dean of the Spanish department, and I told them my story. And a story is a powerful thing. When you can tell your story and have people listen to you, it changes things. And so I went and told her my story. I said, I really want to study Spanish. It's something that means a lot to me, and I would love it if you help me. Ask for help when you need it. And I'm learning that, and that's hard. That's not easy to do, especially when you have a lot of confidence and you feel like you got it going on or whatever. You don't want to ask for help, but you got to ask for help when you need it. And so I went there, I humbled myself, and I asked for help. And the dean was just like, well, Greg, okay, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you want. And she said, what we can do is we can set up a weekly schedule. We'll have calls, and I'll prep you to get ready to take the test again. And I said, okay, I'll do it. So we hopped on calls over the summer, and then at that time I was in Cincinnati, because I'm from Cincinnati, and I drove up to Columbus to take the test. And so I went up there to take the test, and I passed, both parts. And I was like, come on, you know what I'm saying? Like, I did it, I didn't let anything stop me because I wanted it that bad. Because if I didn't pass, I told you I was going to study anyways. And so, you know, I kept going. I believed in myself to grow. I believed in myself to change, all right? You all really have the power to do anything that you say you want to do. And it's up to you to just believe that and to never stop dreaming and never stop believing. And I wouldn't be myself if I didn't give y'all a little something to take away, because I love entertaining. So I wrote a little spoken word piece that I would love to share with you all. To just kind of send you on your way and help you hopefully be motivated to continue to grow, learn, and change. All right, does that sound good? Wait, what I said, does that sound good? All right. So, wait a minute, before I do that, I want to see if y'all remember the mantra I said earlier. Who remembers the mantra? What is it?
If it is to be, it starts with me.
He said, if it is to be, it starts with me. Let me everybody say, if it is to be, it what? All right. If it is to be, it starts with me. Okay, so here's the spoken word piece. It's called Dear Brother. And I wrote this after I read Hill Harper's book. It's called Letters to a Young Brother. It really inspired me. Dear brothers, be courageous and strong. Seek right instead of wrong. Wrap your minds around ideas that require deep contemplation. I'm talking earth-shattering concepts that can reinvigorate a nation. Allow your thoughts to slip into dips, creating acrobatic tricks that can deceive the deception. And in some ironic way, make a brilliant correction. My brothers, the world needs you to showcase your true reflection. Outshine stereotypical lies that form knives made to penetrate deep into our character. Allow intelligence to seep through your pores so that when you speak, the world anticipates what's in store. With knowledge and power in your hands, clench another brother's palm, because united we can save the streets from the drugs which are carried by the thugs who degrade our women simply because they admire greed rather than love. It's up to us, my brothers, to ignite a revolution that was created prior to our arrival. However, for us, there is no substitution. If love doesn't present itself in a beautiful way on the inside and out, if it's not intelligent and dedicated, what real love is all about, then don't entertain it. My brothers, you are princes, destined to be king of your throne someday. So when the going gets tough, rise to the occasion and pray. For you, my brothers, God will always make a way. Thank you.